Hello, how are you today? I hope you are doing fine. In this video, you will find certain examples that you may have experienced in your daily life. Are you wondering what is it? Before we dive into our topic today, let's take a look at this example first. Have you experienced that scenario before? I'm pretty sure you did. We all loved playing that in a playground, didn't we? But have we ever considered questions such as, what made us slide so easily? Or is there any kind of force that is letting us slide easily? To answer your questions, yes, it is related to a kind of force. What type of force is that? It's called frictional force. So, in this video, you will be introduced about what frictional force is all about. Here are the learning outcomes. By the end of this video, you should be able to state what frictional force is through the worksheet given, explain an example of frictional force in daily life also through a worksheet, and describe the effect of friction on the motion of objects. But first, let's recap on what is force. Force is a push or pull act that is exerted to move things. Here is an example on how force is used in our daily life. When we are pushing or pulling the chair, we are applying force to it. You must be wondering, that was force. Then, what about friction? You want to know what friction is? Then let's do this together. For this, you will need to place your hands together and rub them against each other. First, rub them slowly, now faster a little, now as fast as possible, and then touch elsewhere and feel the heat. Friction occurs when two surfaces come in contact with each other in such a way that they rub against one another. Let's take a look at an example to understand better. When you are shuffling cards, there is frictional force applied. Let's take a closer look at this slow motion video. If you observe closely, the cards are rubbing each other as they are shuffled, and this is an act of frictional force because the two surfaces are in contact. Another example would be pushing a trolley on a smooth surface. Notice that this trolley right now is being pushed easily. Now, I want you to imagine that you are pushing a trolley on a rough surface. In this case, it can be a carpet. So, on which surface was easier to push the trolley? The rough surface or the smooth surface? Yes, you're right. The answer is smooth surface was easier to push the trolley. But why is that so? Because these factors are mainly affected by the surface texture and amount of force impelling them together. Smooth surface, as we saw earlier, has lesser friction, causing the car to move faster compared on a rough surface. But the main question is, does surface really matter? Come, let's carry out a small activity together to find out. For this activity, you can carry this out in your house. All you need is a toy car, your house floor to represent as the smooth surface, the carpet to represent as the rough surface, and a stopwatch. For this activity, you will need to place your toy car at two fixed points. You can label it as point A and point B. Then, you need to time the distance traveled on the surfaces using your stopwatch, and after that, compare the time taken that the car traveled on the two surfaces. The time taken for the toy car to move on the smooth surface was 6 seconds.